Hello and welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to thank all the new subscribers that I have and everyone who's been watching these videos. Uh, I really love all your comments and thanks for the compliments and everything that you guys have been giving me. Kind of makes all the hard work worth it when people notice what's been going on. So in this video, I want to go over an updated map. One of the biggest requests I get for videos is an updated map of the line, as there have been some changes since the original map video, which was made like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. And some things have changed. And, the reroute project, adding in the loop out at the west end, these things were obviously not in existence when I made the original video, so I'll point those out. So what I've done here, this is the original video. Yes, I'm using a screwdriver for a pointer because that's what I had laying around, This is the original map that was used in the old map video, and then I just kind of crudely redrew it here, detailing some of the changes. So I guess we'll start out just showing a typical ride on the RRVT. So this is the location of the car barn. There are 4 tracks in the main barn, and then there's a lean-to which has another track, which is this little guy right here. This is where I store the dump cars to keep them out of the weather. So we come out of the car barn here and we go on to the main line, go around the curve, and at this point we get near the creek, which is what these dashed lines represent here, is the creek. We come along the creek and come up here to the spring switch. Now this spring switch is normally set straight route. So we go through the spring switch, and then we go through this spring switch, which is normally set diverging. So we come around here and travel down this straightaway. Most of this straightaway here has been upgraded to 30-pound rail. It rides really awesome. This is really heavily super elevated curve, so we can fly around this one. And then here's where the hill starts, and this is like a 4 or 5% grade going up this hill. So we keep going up the hill, up the hill, up the hill. Now here is where the 80-foot long trestle bridge is located. The hill crest somewhere in this area. Keep coming up here. We go by the material yard and pass on to the new bridge. Come around the curve here. Proceed onto the high-speed straightaway. This has a slight upgrade to it. Approach this other smaller bridge right here. This one's about 20 feet long, I think. And here we hit this spring switch, which is normally line diverging route. Come around the loop and then pass over the turntable. And then this is where I typically really open the throttle, because this is now a downgrade and we can really fly down this track. Come back around this curve, and then here we diverge, and this is also a spring switch, normally set diverging. We diverge, go across the new double track bridge, come down the hill. Now this hill is pretty steep as well. It's at least 4%. It bottoms out somewhere in this area here. Come around this curve, go back through these spring switches, and return back to the barn. Now that ride, I think there's about 3,500 feet, give or take, on that total ride. So let's talk about some of the changes that have happened in the last, well, say 10 years since that original video was made with this old map. So one of the things I did was I added in a switch right here and put a tail track in so I can store some cars near the barn. I put some flat cars and stuff for hauling materials on these cars that they really don't matter if they sit outside. So that has been added. This little stub right here used to be a maintenance trestle. So this switch, it's always lined straight route. This little track used to go, it was supported on some posts, and it went up about probably 3 feet in the air. And that's how we used to work on equipment a long time ago, so we could get underneath of it. What happened over the years was this creek right here flooded a lot, and it washed away a lot of the bank here, and eventually it undermined this track. All the posts and everything fell into the water during a really bad flood. I have since sort of fortified this bank, and this track is now used only for dumping soil back on the bank, so that way we can keep it from getting any closer to the main line. This down here, I just kind of drew this back in. This is an old siding that used to exist. That was taken out many, many, many years ago. So let's talk about the reroute project that I did a few years ago. That was in this area. So the dashed lines represent where the original route was. So the main line used to come up here, and the switch was located right in this area, and then there was like this really sharp S-curve, and this curve right here was like the sharpest curve on the whole line. When I would try to haul poles or something long on a flat car where I would have to span 2 cars, this S-curve was just dreadful because the stuff kept falling off the cars, and trying to keep the overhead tension through this S-curve was always extra work. So I decided to eliminate all of that. And so what I did was I built this bridge. That's there's a whole video about building this bridge and putting the switch in. This is where the powered trolley frog is right here. And so the original route then used to come way over here, which was, I think the reason it was done that way originally was because this is a pretty steep grade. So this gave you a little more distance to cover to even out that grade. And also there used to be a track that came up here and went out this way. And that's been gone for a long, long time. And then this was just kind of left. So I took all that out, shifted the main line down here so it was more straight, and then this is obviously much straighter. This bridge is a double track bridge. I did it that way because I wanted to have a double track bridge. So I could have sort of straightened this out and moved this up here, but I really wanted a double track bridge. So that's why I did it the way I did it there. Also, the original maintenance yard track or material yard track used to be kind of in the same area as where the track is now, but I've added a second track so that way I can store more cars. So those little flat cars that you see on the line, those came from an old brick plant. I acquired quite a few of those, and I kept a handful of them. I bought them mostly for the wheels, but I kept, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of them in service for hauling material. And all of a sudden I had more cars and I had room to store them. So I added this little track right here so I could put some of them there. And then this track is where I do my, I have a rack right here that's used for storing poles, so that I can just roll the poles right over onto the flat car and haul them out of here and take them wherever they're needed. So the other thing that's been added is the loop out here. Originally, we had the turntable here, which the turntable is still in existence. It's just kind of straight railed. I do use it for a switch, more or less, to get into this little stub track, which this stub track has been lengthened from its original length, and there again, that's to store more of those cars. So really the only time the turntable gets used is when I need to access this track. So the original route came out here on these dashed lines, and then it stub ended right here. When I put this loop in 2015, it really changed the operation out here, because now you could make a complete run without exiting the car. And that made it really fun. Not that the turntable wasn't fun, but you'd have this nice exhilarating ride, and then you'd have to get out and use the turntable. The maintenance on the turntable was also an issue, because it has a wooden runway underneath of it, and those boards would tend to rot out. So keeping this straight railed eliminated a lot of maintenance. Adding the loop made it a lot more fun. I also have this little stub track that I put in right here. Now there's a road that runs along here, and this little stub track allows me to load equipment onto a trailer, so I can haul it back to my shop very easily. I've got a piece of panel track that I snap onto the end of this, and it goes right up on the trailer, and I can load and unload stuff in half an hour. It makes it much easier than trying to back the trailer onto the main line and load and unload things that way. Thinking about the future of what I would like to do, I'm kind of landlocked with this setup. So the property line is like right here. And obviously I'm bordered by the creek down here, and then at the other end over here, I'm right at the property line right here. The property line kind of goes like this. So if I can get my hands on some more rail, the first thing I'm going to do with it is I'm going to take this curve right here, and I'm going to push it out this way. This would give us a really nice run. This is all very heavily wooded. You can't see, these other tracks from here. So it would be, it would feel like you're in kind of a different area. So I would like to push this out here. And the other thing that I've considered doing, because there is more room over here, I've thought about taking this and pushing it out all the way to the property line. It wouldn't give me much more running, but it would be kind of nice, because when you come out of the barn track, you're basically going right into a curve, and I would like to have that, more of a straightaway before I go into the curve. This would be a very big project, because there's a lot of soil. There's quite a hill right here that I would have to kind of dig into. So that's a very low priority expansion. But this one here would add quite a bit of length to the track, and would really add a whole nother dimension to the ride, because I could straighten out this curve a little bit, and there would have to be a little bridge in here. And like I said, it's real heavily wooded, so it would be quite a scenic ride if I was able to do that. So I'm always looking out for more 12 to 30 pound rail. So far I haven't come across any more, but you know, this stuff kind of goes in spurts. Like I don't find any of it for a long time, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch available. So fingers crossed that I get my hands on some more rail. So that's about it for the updated map. I hope that adds some clarity to where the changes were made. I just realized I forgot to point out this little guy right here. When I did this, I also straightened this so that the track doesn't kind of double back on itself. I straight railed that. So when we come down this hill at high speed, it was kind of unnerving coming into this like little S curve. So now that it's straight, gives you a little more time to put the brakes on and slow down before you hit the big curve. So that's what that little guy is. And I did that at the same time as I did this. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the updated map, and it answered some of your questions and cleared up some of the confusion about where the reroute was done. Again, thank you everyone for watching and helping me to buy supplies with your views. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the videos with your friends so maybe they will enjoy it too. It's almost springtime now, so actually this coming weekend I'm planning on stopping out there to check on things. I haven't been out there since December, so we'll see how much storm damage we got over the winter. We did have one nasty snowstorm that dumped like a foot of snow and very high winds, so I'm sure that broke some tree branches down, and hopefully it didn't take too much wire down. So when I get out there, I'll be sure to make a video on what all has happened over the winter, and hopefully this year we'll be able to make a whole lot of new improvements, and I'll take you guys along for the ride. So thanks for watching. See you next time.